Coming up next on This Week in Torrance, an action-packed Armed Forces weekend for the city. We'll have all the highlights.
Then the city brings home first place in a national competition.
And how a local elementary school is taking steps to reduce waste.
Plus, a select group of local police officers and firefighters are honored at a recent award ceremony.
These stories and much more just seconds away.
Your local news starts right now. Hello, everyone, and welcome to This Week in Torrance. I'm Jin Chin.
And I'm Ben McCain. Thanks for joining us. Here are your top stories. The results of a national competition are in, and the city of Torrance has something to celebrate.
And I'm glad to say today we are number one.
All eyes were on the city of Torrance as it took the top spot for the 30-day Mayor's Challenge for water conservation. The city was honored for being the most water conscious across the nation in its category. It was all part of the Weiland Foundation's friendly competition that urged communities nationwide to take a water conservation pledge online. Each competing city was placed into categories based on their population. One lucky entrant from Aurora, Colorado won the grand prize of a brand new Toyota Prius. The competition began in April, and Torrance residents kept the momentum going by promising to be mindful about how they use water. But Mayor Patrick Fury says he hopes the city is ready for the next step.
Make sure everybody does what they said they were going to do. That way we can save the water. We can save our planet. We can save our city.
The mayor added that it's an educational opportunity, and with California and its fourth year of drought, the community needs to work together. Torrance residents also showed off their water conserving tips to local news stations. Many say using less water in everyday routines and fixing leaks right away goes a long way.
I see the momentum building, and I see people being empowered by doing small changes, taking shorter showers, doing full loads of laundry. Maybe one less load of laundry a week really adds up.
The Weiland Challenge is important to us because it is one of those things that everybody can play a part. You can't wake up in the morning and say, gee, there's nothing I can do to save water. This is a global issue. Not true. Everybody can do something.
Save water!
Torrance was recognized for having the most number of pledges nationwide with more than 76,000. Hermosa Beach, Aurora, Colorado, Poway, and San Diego were also the grand prize winners in their respective categories. The Weiland Foundation's next step is to launch a World Water Pledge and encourage people across the globe to make an effort. Click it or ticket. You've heard that phrase before, but the Torrance Police Department wants to let you know they are serious. From May 18th through the 31st, TPD is stepping up enforcement on their Click It or Ticket campaign. This means zero tolerance for those not wearing a seatbelt. Click It or Ticket is part of a national seatbelt enforcement campaign to bring awareness to deaths related to unbuckled motorists. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, nearly half of passenger vehicle occupants killed in 2013 accidents were not wearing seatbelts. The bottom line is that seatbelts can help save lives, and it's the law. For more information on the campaign, visit nhtsa.gov/CIOT. Well, at the most recent council meeting, more acknowledgments for the month of May were announced. Mayor Patrick Fury and Councilman Kurt Wiedemann read the proclamation announcing the month of May to be dedicated towards protecting our neighborhood and natural resources. The Torrance Historical Society plays a big role in preserving the city's rich heritage and was recognized for their contribution.
The Torrance Historical Society strives to educate the community about the history of Torrance and promote preservation through the operation of a museum, the sponsorship of a downtown walking and historic home tours, and the preparation of the Historic Resources Survey for the Torrance Track.
And in the spirit of conservation, a local elementary school took part in a trash-free lunch challenge. Towers Elementary School was recognized for significantly reducing waste while taking part in an environmental competition. As part of the 4th annual Grades of Green Trash-Free Challenge, students were encouraged to pack reduced or trash-free lunches and sort their waste into recycling and compost bins. Parents and teachers pitched in to help make this event a success, reducing trash by 50%.
All the schools now, I think collectively each year, the schools with towers now will be diverting 11,000 bags of trash from the landfill each school year if they continue with the program. So this is huge.
Mayor Fury encouraged more schools to be involved this next school year. For more information on the program or to register your school, visit gradesofgreen.org. And next week, we'll introduce you to the parent of Towers Elementary School spearheading the program.
The city accepted a generous donation at the latest council meeting, all going towards our young people. ExxonMobil Foundation donated a sum of $50,000 to the Green Team Youth Development Program. 25 students were chosen from Torrance high schools to work this summer and gain a rare learning opportunity. ExxonMobil has been a longtime supporter of educational programs, investing money to provide opportunities for students through the Summer Jobs Program.
I'm here tonight on behalf of ExxonMobil and the Torrance Refinery in particular to support the ExxonMobil Youth Development Program, even wearing the T-shirt to go with it. And that, as you know, is a STEM Summer Youth Employment Program. Since 1990, the ExxonMobil Foundation has invested more than $2 million to provide jobs for nearly 800 students over the period in the city of Torrance through the Summer Jobs Program.
The 25 students will be placed in jobs with the City of Torrance or the Torrance Unified School District for 4 weeks.
And with the Memorial Day holiday just around the corner and summer vacations coming up, here's a way you can rest assured your home is safe. The Vacation Security Check service is offered to all Torrance residents for free. While you're away on vacation, officers from the Torrance Police Department will periodically stop by your home to check for open doors, broken windows, or any other suspicious circumstances. This is a security precaution recommended for every homeowner to safeguard your possessions and give you peace of mind while you're away. To take advantage of this service, all you have to do is fill out a short form online which asks questions like your contact information, dates of when you'll be away, whether your lights have timers, if there are pets on the property, and who to contact in the event of an emergency. It's a quick and easy form to fill out. Just go to torranceca.gov/TPD and click on Vacation Security Check. Now, if you don't have online access, you can still sign up. Just head on down to the police station located at the Torrance Civic Center.
The City of Torrance kicked off its 56th annual Armed Forces Day celebration with a military exhibit at the Del Amo Fashion Center. Laura Fong shows us the military hardware that was on display.
Thank you, military!
The City of Torrance continued its proud tradition of honoring military men and women with the annual Armed Forces Day celebration. The 3-day tribute kicked off with the military exhibit at the Del Amo Fashion Center.
The one I like most is like the Dark Knight over there.
The Dark Knight, which one was your favorite?
I think it was the one with all the technology and with the big satellite.
9 and 10-year-old Luke Badikin and James Broughton were among dozens of little ones climbing aboard vessels, checking out Army tanks, and taking hold of some major artillery.
Nice to be able to open it up and share with the community, and the kids are loving it.
Bosun Mate 3rd Class Michael Gould, along with his team, proudly represented this year's honored branch, the U.S. Coast Guard.
We've been here engaged with the community all day long, and so it's just really neat to see the energy keep going and being able to share all this great stuff with everyone.
Gould says this boat was designed for anti-terror missions and made to help mariners in distress. Plus, it could be deployed anywhere in the world within 96 hours. Today was all about exploring and learning about different divisions of the military and getting an up-close and personal look at some serious gear. Whether that means major search and rescue missions with the U.S. Coast Guard, or taking on enemies from the sea with the Navy and Marine Corps, or joining the largest branch, the Army, for land-based operations.
We're just honored to be out here and talk to the public and kids and everything, make them aware of what we do.
Joseph Monfried is a bosun mate 1st class in the U.S. Coast Guard. He and his team showed off their boat that handles aid to navigation, meaning they make sure people in the water know where to go.
It was like an 8-year-old kid wanted to be a rescue swimmer or do law enforcement. Usually you think about policemen or firemen, or you don't think too much military, but yeah, it's pretty cool for the kids to want to do emulate yourself or do what you do.
With almost every division of the military represented at the event, it was the perfect place for kids like Luke and James to discover a future as servicemen.
Maybe I would probably join the Navy.
What about you?
I would want to drive this boat. That would be pretty cool.
Well, they're not old enough to enlist yet. Events like this expose them to the possibilities. For Torrance City Cable, I'm Laura Fong.
Thanks, Laura. There are nearly 42,000 men and women that are actively serving in the U.S. Coast Guard.
The Armed Forces Weekend continued with a patriotic concert by the Air Force Band of the Golden West. Jesse Pierre has more on this musical event.
One of the highlights of the concert was the world premiere of The Legacy of Valor, a piece composed by Technical Sergeant Scott Wise. This original work, which honored the many Japanese Americans who served in World War II, included music and personal interviews from the war veterans.
The 100th and 442nd, which combined in 1944, consisted almost entirely of Japanese Americans.
The unit became the most decorated because of its size and length of service in U.S. history.
They were like 1,500 volunteers for combat duty.
Despite the discrimination the Japanese faced, they came out in large numbers to fight and serve their country.
One of my happiest moments is that, once we rescued the lost battalion, they walking back, or they shake our hand and say, thank you very much, Man, I cried. Made me smile.
The Air Force Band played various genres of music, from pop to country, and of course patriotic music from the era to show their appreciation of the armed forces. This is Torrance's 56th year to host the Armed Forces celebration and parade in honor of all the men and women who serve our country. For CitiCABLE 3, I'm Jesse Pierre.
Thanks, Jesse. These interviews from the performance were provided by the Go for Broke National Education Center as part of the Hanashi Oral History Project. For more information, visit goforbroke.org.
Pilots around Southern California had a chance to showcase some historic planes at this year's Armed Forces Day Parade. We join Lisa Lee as she takes us on a trip through the decades.
They burn a lot of fuel, make a lot of noise, but they're a whole lot of fun. Warbirds revved up their engines at Zamborini Field, ready to take off for the Armed Forces Day Parade.
Well, it's a lot of fun. You're with a lot of other folks that appreciate the efforts of the men and women from this country. And to fly in airspace on a beautiful day with 6 other T-6s is a beautiful thing.
It means a lot. It's to celebrate the veterans from all branches of the service that are here. My dad was a veteran too, so it's paying respect to all the veterans out there.
Dating back to World War II, each plane holds a special history of its own, like this T-6 Texan painted navy blue for the time it spent in the U.S. Navy. The Daisy Pearl dates back to 1943, where it was used to train pilots before they went to fight overseas. And now it comes full circle for the parade here in Torrance. For pilots like Dan Hill and Bradford Lang, sharing that history is the best part.
This specific airplane is a very powerful Korean War vintage, Vietnam War vintage fighter and trainer. And it has an engine with 1,425 horsepower. I like the thrill of the flight with it.
It's special because I like to tell the story of the men and women from World War II. A lot of folks don't realize that men and women back in World War II had really put forth such an effort to support the war, and flying was a part of that.
And what keeps these pilots coming back year after year is their appreciation for the armed forces and love for flying, or what some might call an addiction.
Got the bug when I was a little kid, and then started pursuing it through high school and college. And then once I got hooked, the talons are in, and there's no getting out of it.
When you get behind a Mustang, there's nothing better. You're all by yourself up in the sky, and it does whatever you want it to do. So it's kind of hard to explain.
And I was lucky enough to experience it for myself.
I just got back from a beautiful ride over the Pacific coast filled with barrels and dives and loops. And for those of you who don't know what G-force feels like, I would explain it as someone about 4 times as heavy as you sitting on your shoulders. So basically a lot of pressure.
And sharing that adrenaline rush with a veteran is one that will never grow old.
And I've taken dozens of World War II veterans flying. You know, it's just it's a way of paying tribute to the people that sacrificed a whole heck of a lot more than I have.
A salute to the men and women who protect our freedom. For Torrance City Cable, I'm Lisa Lee.
Thanks, Lisa. The event was hosted through the Western Museum of Flight and the Torrance Police Department. You can visit some of these warbirds for yourself at the museum. Visit WMOF.com to schedule a visit or call 310-326-9544.
Joining the military is a big life decision, and during Armed Forces Day in Torrance, new recruits learned what to expect during their time in service. Colin Kushner has that story.
The Armed Forces Day drill meet had plenty of action, but also served as a little taste of what basic training will be like for the new recruits.
We don't say it together, it doesn't count. Down!
So yeah, this is an opportunity for them to really get the feel of kind of what basic training will actually be like, and just get some of the skills, some of the primary skills, get those down now. So when they do get the basic training, it won't just be, you know, foreign language to them.
A few hundred current and future Army soldiers gathered at El Prado Park, and some of the new recruits were even from Torrance. For North High senior Gilbert Flores Hernandez, being a part of the military is something very special to him.
As far as I know that I'm the first in my family, so I felt like I was bringing some pride and a sense of accomplishment basically to my family. And that's what I wanted.
Yes, Drill Sergeant! Hernandez graduates from North High in June and ships out in July, where he will begin his military training. Being a part of the Armed Forces Day festivities right in his hometown, well, he's just happy to be with others that want to serve their country too.
Well, it's just to be around with all these people who made the same decision that I did, even the recruiters who did it a couple of years back and all the future soldiers who are doing it right now, and just to be a part of the same environment and having to talk to somebody who made the decision that I did.
For Lieutenant Colonel Norman Lawrence, it wasn't that long ago that he himself was in a new recruit's shoes.
So there's a lot of apprehension right now. I'm sure a lot of them are very scared, wondering what they got themselves into. But you are correct. I was a young 17-year-old when I enlisted, went off to basic training, and I thought to myself, what am I doing here? But I tell you, there's a lot of pride. You know, they're going to break them down a little bit, but they're going to build them back up at the end of the day, and they're going to feel that much more part of the team.
The drill meet not only was a way to learn what's next, but to understand what it truly means to be a part of the military.
Left, right.
Reporting for Torrance City Cable, I'm Colin Kushner.
Thanks, Colin. If you would like more information about the Los Angeles Recruiting Battalion, you can visit their website at usarec.army.mil.
And of course, we can't forget our annual parade, which always brings in a huge crowd. This year celebrates the 56th consecutive year the parade has taken place.
It was a day that would have made Uncle Sam proud, filled with flags, patriotic hats, and a whole lot of American spirit. Torrance's 56th annual Armed Forces Day started off with a big bang. Residents came out to show some appreciation, and one particular attendee even came dressed in a special piece of history, his grandfather's Army uniform.
It was cool.
What was your favorite one?
The machine guns.
Yes, he's very into it. Anytime there's Army or anything around, he's there looking at it and talking about it. So, yeah, we'll see where the future takes him.
It may be another couple of years before Elliot can follow in his grandfather's steps, but this year more than 800 new recruits recited the oath of enlistment as they were sworn in. This was the largest group marching in the parade and included recruits from all branches. Armed Forces proudly walked down Torrance Boulevard as excited parade watchers cheered loudly. From children to the elderly, the day holds a special meaning through the generations.
A day that we get to celebrate all kinds of different people that have helped us out and protected us.
We come every year to support our military and to say thank you. We have actually family members who served in the Air Force and the Army. So this is one of the things that we like to do is we like to come out here and say thank you and, you know, give our support and be with our community.
For Vietnam War veteran Samuel Medina, attending the Armed Forces Day Parade is a fairly new tradition he plans to keep.
Would you believe this is only my second time? Last year was my first time ever here, and I've been a Torrance resident for 49 years. And so when I came here last year, I said I'm not gonna miss any more from now on. So here I am. I love it. I love it. And from now on, like I said, every year for as long as I'm alive and I'm in good health, I'll be here. I'm proud of the military, and I'm proud of the service. And if I were young and had to do it all over again, I would not hesitate one moment. So, and God bless USA. That's all there is to it.
And what's it like to have a front row seat to the nation's longest running military parade? Well, for resident and Hawthorne police officer Derek Cabrera, it's a reason to celebrate in style.
We should make it friendly for everybody, for something for the kids to do. We always have food out here for everybody. We always invite. I always say if you're sitting on this side of the street, you're sitting on the right side. So I always try to invite everybody over here, have some food. Every year we do a different theme out here. Military runs on both sides of my family, my father's side and my mother's side. So my brother's a fireman and I'm a cop. It's just great to see the community come together because it's actually a very small token of appreciation, just for you to come out and support, and that's all you really want.
For Torrance City Cable, I'm Lisa Lee.
Thanks, Lisa. This year brought in a crowd of around 60,000 people, and if you missed the parade, you can find full coverage online. You can also tune in to Time Warner Channel 22 for full coverage of the Armed Forces Day Parade and concert beginning at 7:30 p.m.
The Armed Forces Day celebrations came to a close at the Torrance Marriott as the men and women who serve our country were honored for their sacrifices. This year's celebrations especially admired the United States Coast Guard. CitiCABLE reporter Hiba Samad was at the banquet alongside with my co-anchor Ben McCain, who emceed the event.
O'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
It was a moment of patriotism and unity. A banquet hall filled with familiar faces, loved ones, and heroes who came together to celebrate a long-time tradition here in Torrance.
A pinch of salt symbolizes the tears endured by those missing and their families who seek answers.
Along with the celebrations, the event remembered those who gave the ultimate sacrifice.
The idea that it's happened for 56 continuous years, good times and the bad times, no matter what, our city embraces our military, and I'm really proud of that.
Mayor Fury says the city of Torrance gets the honor of hosting not only the Armed Forces Day celebration every year, but more importantly, a chance to say thank you.
Here in Torrance, we recognize just how lucky we are to have men and women like you who give us the ability to enjoy the freedoms that we have.
Spent some time with some great folks. We have a number of Montford Point Marines here who are folks who were in the military back in the 40s and went through a very tough time in the military and provided great service to our country. To many of our senior flags who are here this weekend, getting a chance to talk to them, just very impressive people.
Joseph Martin is the commanding general of the U.S. Army National Training Center in Fort Irwin. He served for 34 years and says the Armed Forces Day celebration gives him a chance to connect with new and old friends, but also reaffirms the support the military continues to have by the city of Torrance.
We love what we do in the military, but it's always good to know that you're backed by the civilian population in this country, and the love here is unconditional.
And with the special appearance by the U.S. Coast Guard Ceremonial Honor Guard drill team, second-class Petty Officer Raymond Attaway, who trains these young men and women, says he's prouder than ever.
It's amazing because you just don't get that, because after this we'll fly back to the East Coast and we'll go back to our regular jobs and move on. But to know that we looked back and got to be a part of this, what happens in Torrance, and it being a Coast Guard year for it, that's just something we'll talk about for the rest of our time.
Today, our armed services are something, for a lot of people, you read or you hear about, but you don't often get to see and touch. But that's not the case here in Torrance.
With the biggest turnout yet.
This was the best Armed Forces Day I have ever seen.
And as many of these men and women continue to serve, they know that every step of the way, there is support. For Torrance City Cable, I'm Hiba Samad.
Thanks, Hiba. Now, Ben, you had the honor of emceeing this event second time in a row now.
That's right, Jen, and it is such an honor, and it is a wonderful event for the city of Torrance, and as we mentioned, 56 consecutive years.
Right, what a great tradition we have. Pretty amazing.
It is. Still ahead, some upcoming events you won't want to miss.
We'll be back in just 30 seconds.
Something's not right. My first symptoms were
constant tingling in my toes.
double vision. They said you have multiple sclerosis.
Kind of had to get a grasp on reality.
I had to adapt and change very rapidly.
We had to learn how to drive with my hands. Yeah, that was interesting.
A symptom may cause you not to be able to do that anymore. And at one point, I wasn't able to do any of those.
Since I've been cycling, it's definitely helped my walking.
It's a fantastic opportunity to be working together with a common goal of curing MS, and sharing is the key.
Welcome back, everybody. Summer is right around the corner, so don't forget to sign up for summer day camps. Camps include crafts, outdoor activities, and a field trip every week. Torrance Summer Day Camps will be in session Monday, June 22nd until Friday, August 28th from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Fees range from $130 to $155 per week. Summer day camps will be held at Greenwood Park, La Romeria Park, and Charles H. Wilson Park. Open registration for summer day camps begins Wednesday, May 27th from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the registration office located at 3031 Torrance Boulevard. For more information or to register, please visit torranceca.gov/daycamps. It's the highest honor in the South Bay, and one Torrance firefighter was awarded a prestigious award at the 41st Annual South Bay Medal of Valor Luncheon. 8 others were also awarded for saving lives while on duty. Torrance CitiCABLE reporter Hiba Samad has their stories.
Officer Michael Murray responded to a radio call of a 3-week-old baby barely breathing and non-responsive.
It's these life and death situations that call for acts of bravery by our first responders.
I think all of our safety personnel are phenomenal. They go above and beyond every day. It's just their normal course of actions. But I think there must have been something that stood out on these applications for them to recommend them.
From Torrance to El Segundo, the South Bay Police and Fire Memorial Foundation hosted the Medal of Valor event, which represents 9 South Bay cities, a tradition that brings law enforcement and fire agencies together to honor the men and women who went above and beyond their duty during dangerous times.
He was unresponsive, not breathing, her eyes were rolled back in her head.
Chosen by a selection panel, this year multiple awards were given to those who saved lives of children.
If I was in that situation and somebody came in and saved my child, I would be overwhelmed, and there's never enough you can do to help these people.
But Medal of Valor recipient firefighter Nick Facer's story of courage is one of a kind. He risked his life while he was off duty in Ireland and saved 2 drowning victims.
The gratifying part about it is just knowing that John, the victim out there, was able to go home to his family. You know, that was one of the first things he mentioned to me was his daughter, and it's nice to be able to reunite someone with their family when they've suffered through something so traumatic. So it was nice that we both can make it back to shore safely.
An act that Facer says was simply just his call to duty.
Know that that's your job. You know, you train for it. You know, you do your things, and you know, you think maybe something like that can happen, but you don't. I'd never really expected an award for it. You know, it's like something I'd do again.
And I'm very proud of our personnel, and they make not only myself but the entire city and the mayor, everybody from the mayor on down, very proud and happy.
Hawthorne PD also took home 3 life-saving awards. Officer Michael Murray remembers that moment when he saved a life.
I've never been so afraid because you have this infant that's laying there and you know that you need to do whatever you can to ensure it survives.
But for him, this award is much more than just a plaque.
I think it brings a good light to law enforcement. I know over the last couple years there's been some negative publicity towards law enforcement, so I think these kind of functions go to reassure the public that law enforcement is out here to help everyone.
A proud day for the firefighters and police officers that show heroism on a daily basis. For Torrance CitiCABLE, I'm Hiba Samad.
Thanks, Hiba. Nick Facer will be the 9th firefighter in the city of Torrance to receive this honor. Next week on This Week in Torrance, we will bring you more about our Torrance hero. Well, that does it for us on This Week in Torrance. I'm Ben McCain. If you've missed any portion of our show, you can catch us again at 11 a.m. and 6 p.m.
And I'm Jin Chin. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.